We have a wonderful podcast, The Journey into the Minds of Strange People. And you better believe they're doing strange things. On this show, me and you, this is why you're here, we're fascinated by human beings, their behavior, what motivates them to do what they do. And this week, we're talking about kingpins, criminal masterminds, the criminal underbelly of society. And I don't just mean season 1 of the hit Channel 10 TV series Underbelly, and every other season after that, probably dog shit. I don't think anyone watched it, you know what I mean? But at My Pixel Persona, at One Weird Podcast, did you watch past season 1 of Underbelly? And if you did, why'd you do it? And special guest, Dickham McNeil. David, did you watch past season 1?
I've not seen a single season of Underbelly.
All right, dude. Doing yourself a disservice. I don't want to get into that.
Is season 1 good?
Season 1's pretty good.
Okay.
It's pretty good, dude.
You've realized that that's a pretty niche Australian. Is that even Queensland or is that Australian?
I think when I think underbelly, criminal underbelly, and I think Australia, I think Sydney.
You think Sydney? That would make sense. That's where organized crime would take place, yeah.
It's the heart of Sydney, the
beating
heart of organized crime. David, I'm going to say...
Yeah.
When I say to you the word bouncy castle, what's your immediate thought?
I think, primary school, maybe a sports day or something like that. They might have a bouncy castle for some fun.
For sure.
I think my nephew's 10th birthday where we went to a big park and there was a big kind of inflatable bouncy castle.
Of course.
But just given my understanding of the show that's on a network, I'm starting to think that maybe those aren't related to the thing that you have.
For sure. I'd like to add one thing to what you said, because you think fun, you think joy, you think laughter. You think
fun.
Childlike wonder, but you forgot to mention...
James, the joy of you at the zenith of your jump, when you're in the air and you feel weightless.
The apex.
The childlike wonder of the apex of the jump, James.
The apex of the crest of a bouncy castle jump. The last thing on your mind is a bouncy castle kingpin business owner who hired arsonists to burn down his competitors and then fled interstate when the charges were laid, only to be found and then have to be put behind bars for 11 years. Is that the second thing that you think?
It was when you lay it out like that. A few things come to mind immediately.
For sure.
How does one set a bouncy castle alight? I assumed it's full of air. Air is not combustible. I assume bouncy castles are made of mostly plastic or, it's all polymer, right? Right. How do you set it on fire? So my first question is, how does one do an arson on a bouncy castle? My second question is when, because mostly it's filled with children.
For sure. Yep, these are all great questions.
And my third question is, how are you getting caught for that?
Well, I think, first of all, my name would have to be James Balcombe, and I'd have to be 58 years old, and I'd have to admit to 11 conspiracy to commit arson charges following arson attacks on several Victorian businesses in 2016 and 2017. Where he became obsessed with becoming Melbourne's jumping castle. He became obsessed.
Yeah.
With becoming the best. The kingpin of Melbourne's jumping castle industry, when he instructed 3 men to carry out arson attacks on several of his...
He's got cronies?
He's called them rivals, but I think he just means competitors.
He just means other bouncy castle businesses.
Yeah. And he paid these 3 cronies $2,000 for each fire. And Balcombe told the arsonists for hire to, quote, burn them to the ground.
What? Hold on. What is he asking them to burn? Because a bouncy castle, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's a big bit of plastic that you inflate and then it comes down into a little package.
He's not waiting for each one of these businesses
to be inflated.
To be... Yeah, he's not waiting for them to fucking loan out their bouncy castles to then set the individual ones on fire. He's saying, go to their central hub, where
Go
they
to their
keep
office. Yeah.
Yeah, go to that piece of commercial real estate where they're housing all of their bouncy castles and burn that fucker to the ground.
Put on a high-vis vest and claim that you're there to work on the IT infrastructure.
Yeah.
Walk in unnoticed and ice that motherfucking bouncy castle.
Yeah, exactly. It's a little bit hard to sell the fact that you need to add on some more users to your Office 365 account while you're holding a Molotov cocktail that is currently on fire.
Do you think a big component of this is because, okay, I can't imagine, and again, not my industry, I can't imagine that the bouncy castle game. I'm not a bouncy castle guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
But I can't imagine that it's a hopping competitive industry.
You'd be surprised, dude. You would be surprised.
Oh, would I be? Okay.
Many of the arson attacks were unsuccessful, which is such a bummer.
How do you fuck that up?
With minor damage caused after Molotov cocktails were thrown into car parks, vehicles, or through windows in the front of buildings.
Wait, hold on. Sorry. He's hired goons, like a Batman villain. He's the bouncy castleless is his sort of Batman moniker, and he's hired guys to come in and to like they're not, because I assumed it was like sort of. I thought you were joking when you said Molotov cocktails. I thought they were just sort of doing, corporate espionage and because the easiest way to remove a bouncy castle is to find the thing and stab a hole in it, right?
Right. An inflated bouncy castle and say,
well, just,
you will bounce no more. Yes.
Yeah. But he's gone, actually.
Yeah.
Go find where they're stored and throw a Molotov cocktail into their Ford Fiesta?
Into their place of business. Burn them to the ground, he says.
Why would you assume that they store the bouncy castles where they do the bouncy castle logistics work? That's what I'm saying.
Man, I would be. See, this is the problem, right? You just can't find good help.
You can't
Not anymore.
Get good help anymore.
$2,000 for these fucking pieces of shit to unsuccessfully throw Molotov cocktails into car parks, vehicles, and into the front of buildings. These have to be stored in commercial real estate.
Do you think that it's more like...
It's so easy to burn that to the ground. Your target is so specific.
It just feels to me like the Molotov cocktails are unnecessary. Like, I just think the methodology is flawed. Right. It's a thing that inflates. Just like wait till they go to a park for a child's birthday and put a nail in the park. And they'll put it down and it'll pop. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right, okay.
It feels like the wrong approach. I just think, this is a guy who fancies himself like a fun, a mobster type or something.
Yeah.
It just feels like the wrong approach. That's all I'm saying.
However, A&A Jumping Castle business was totally destroyed by one of the fires, and 110 bouncy castles were destroyed, causing $1.4 million in damage. That's impossible.
In how many bouncy castles, James? Sorry, hang on. How many?
110. We've got to run the maths on this.
We got to do the maths. So 110 bouncy castles. What was the loss? 1.1 million?
1.4. So let's say
1.4 divided
by the building alone's got to be worth a little bit, right? So what's the product? Do you think the product's down to $1 million?
I don't know. James, that would suggest that each bouncy castle is worth $1,272 recurring.
Okay, I'm sorry. We got very different numbers on that.
What did you do?
I'm
not a math guy, and I've been having a few beers. So
I figured the building about $400K, right?
And you included the building?
Well, I'm assuming just $1 million in damages to the bouncy castles.
I thought you meant raw castle loss.
Oh, that's what I'm going. I'm going for raw castle loss at about $9K per castle.
What? How did you get to $9K?
110 castles were wiped off the face of this planet. And we have, I'm going to assume, about $1 million worth of damages to the castles.
Damn. Is this like a thing? Do we just not know about this?
Are we in the wrong business?
Are we on the wrong side of history?
But, okay. We've got to do it. We've got to do it. We don't want to do it. How much?
How much is a bouncy castle worth? Yeah, you got to find out.
How much does it cost
To buy a bouncy
Well, I want to rent out a bouncy castle.
But presumably, James, I think the other thing I want to think about is you need apparatus to keep them inflated. So, like, are you buying like an air pump that's going to do helium? Are you buying the helium? Like, we don't know what the raw materials were that were set aflame, if you will.
True, but I figure like that's coming with the whole kit, right?
Do you think? No,
Let's see.
that's what I'm saying though. Is that what's being lost in the arson here? Like, it's not just the plastic; it's the apparatus that goes with it.
Okay, so this is Brisbane Jumping Castles,
Mhm.
right? We've got supervision is available on request at $40 an hour, right? But then we've got generator hire available if required. 4-hour hire $70 and a 70-hour hire for the castle $100. And the generator hire for 4 hours $90 and 7-hour hire $120.
This is what I suspected. Is I feel like the upkeep of the thing is more expensive than the raw materials. You know,
I feel like that's gonna take me a long time to pay off my castles, right?
it's a deep investment. The castle game.
Well, I guess this is why he wants to. He's forming.
Yeah, I was gonna
his
say
Jeff Bezos-like monopoly on the market.
This speaks to the psychology of a man who would invest his entire self in the bouncy castle game.
Yeah, he's, Jimmy Balcombe says to himself, he's like, I'm not gonna try and price my competitors out of the market. When I can pay $2,000 a pop to fucking burn them to the ground,
that's got to be cheaper.
That's how Jimmy Balcombe becomes the kingpin of the castle.
The only
castle kingpin of Victoria.
Oh, that's good. The castle pin, is that something?
Once he became scared police were on his trail, Balcombe paid an arsonist to set fire to his own business to deflect attention and claim back insurance. No fucking way, dude.
How badly does your plan have to break bad where you're like, so I'm gonna hire these guys and they're gonna destroy my competitors?
Well, they're gonna fuck it up because he said unsuccessful. They were fairly unsuccessful.
Oh, it didn't work. Yeah, again, because that doesn't seem like a good way of removing that kind of competition. So my guy is like, yeah, what I need to do is I need to stage the bombing of my own shop.
Oh no, the screws are getting too close. The screws are getting too close. Oh, Jimmy Balcombe, I know what I gotta do. Oh, think hard here, Jimmy. I know. I'll pay the 3 chuckle fucks who fucked up taking out my competition to burn my business to the
building.
ground.
Yeah. Do you think that he paid or he did it himself?
He absolutely
trust them.
outsourced. He outsourced 100%.
But they fucked up so many of the other ones. You think he's repeating his own problems?
The arsonist Balcombe hired ended up dobbing him into police when they were caught, burning his own business to the ground. They get caught.
My God.
They get caught doing Balcombe's business dodgy, and they fucking rat him out. These are the worst. I'm pissed, dude. I'm pissed.
Terrible contractors, those guys.
The worst arsonists in the game.
They didn't rat you out when you were trying to pay them to bomb someone else's business, but the second it's your fucking turf, and they're turning against you?
But how do they get caught, David? How do they get caught? I'm not calling the police when I see them on my fucking security camera footage.
Yeah, it's
How
true.
do they get caught?
Who dobbed them in?
You guys are the
Your
worst.
one job is to bomb these establishments without being caught. And the other ones, you didn't know the security protocols, where the cameras were, where the cops were. You have home ground advantage. This is home turf advantage.
He could have brought him in the day before, give him the lowdown. Here's where the cameras are at. Scope it out. And they fuck it up, get caught, rat him out instantly.
What's the guy's Jimmy something?
Jimmy Balcombe.
Jimmy Balcombe he sounds like a Batman villain. Like, he sounds like a Batman mobster.
He does, doesn't he?
Like, that's the thing. But like,
where's Balcombe? Tell me where Balcombe's men are.
It's because Falcone is a pretty prominent Batman villain.
Oh shit! Okay.
Yeah, Falcone. But it's funny to me that like first of all, he sounds like a dodgy character. Second of all, you know, your whole aim here is to become the best in the biz, and you've reached too far.
You've hired the worst in the biz.
You've hired the worst in the biz.
Your aim is to be the best in the biz. You've hired the worst in the biz.
And that's a mistake that a lot of people would make. What I would say is, if you're in a headspace, if you've gone too far like this and it's failed, and you're saying to yourself, hold on a minute, what I need to do is, the guys I paid who failed to do the other thing, who failed to do the thing, I should get them to do the thing to my business.
Yeah, that's your own
fault. And it'll be fine. That's on you. Get different guys. Get different guys to do your thing. Or like, you know, hire a guy who hires a guy to do your business. Like, you wouldn't get the guys that couldn't do the job to do the job on your thing, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So Balcombe, no surprise here, was charged in March 2017 and released on bail, but didn't show up for his final directions hearing, with his lawyers handing over a fake medical certificate. A warrant was issued for his arrest, and he was found living in Perth, running a fraudulent stamp operation under the name Paul Johnson. What the fuck?
Sorry.
What's a fraudulent stamp operation?
What does that mean?
That's a big grift. Here's my understanding. My understanding of this
grift
is that he's selling fake stamps to people. And that is a very, very big grift, because
what year is this?
2017. I'm selling what?
Big market?
I'm selling what? 50-cent stamps at 20 cents?
That's what I'm saying.
To
like,
how many people?
The profit... The postage is done primarily through like socially owned government institutions because there's not a lot of money in it.
Who's the guy that discovers... Who was the Leonardo DiCaprio in Catch Me If You Can style detective that holds the envelope up to the light and says, I think you'll find this is a fraudulent stamp.
This one were from Jimmy.
Oh, hold on real quick. Yeah, see how the Queen's only got half a crown on that one? That's a Jimmy Balcombe official.
She has 4 spikes on her crown instead of 6. That's a Jimmy Balcombe.
That's a Balcombe.
That's an authentic Balcombe.
A warrant was issued for his arrest, and he was found living in Perth. Oh yeah, so at this point he was living in Perth.
Can I share my one Perth fact?
Okay.
I never get an opportunity to do this.
Big stamp people down there.
It's not that. So you know how like in the rest of the country and the rest of the world, you just have like famous people.
Yeah.
In Perth, there is a phenomenon of, because it's kind of its own thing. There is a phenomenon of people that are only famous and popular in Perth, like where the guy is a celebrity, right?
Right.
And what they call, do you know what they call them, James?
No.
They call them personalities. I didn't make it. I didn't start it. I'm just reporting. I didn't make the news. I'm reporting the news.
I hate that.
But I just thought it's the only Perth fact I have. So
that's caught me in a place that I really hate.
To refer to people that are only famous in Perth that no one else knows about, they're called personalities.
But to be fair, that could be Greg who shits on the street in the CBD at 7 a.m. every Monday.
I don't advocate for the idea. I'm telling you what happened. Telling you what reality is, and you're blaming me.
Balcombe appeared by video link from prison in Victoria's County Court on Thursday, where he was jailed for a minimum of 7 years and 10 months, with a maximum of 11 years.
Oof.
Quote, "You could have changed your mind when you saw the damage you caused to the property. You could have pulled back, stopped, but you didn't," Judge Stuart Bales said. "Your offending led to the counterproductive destruction of your own business and property." Balcombe has already served 2 years and 5 months of his sentence. I like that that's like what you're appealing to his better nature.
Yeah.
Hey, mate, you saw the damage that you done. He's trying to be the kingpin of the bouncy castle industry of fucking Victoria,
The damage was the point. The damage was the point.
The damage was the point. He wanted to see a city on fire. He wanted to see only the smiling faces of children on a Saturday and Sunday at the park bouncing in his castles.
Do you think, okay, but here's the thing. Do you think it's like the end of Fight Club where it's like, you know, I don't want to see anyone bouncing in any castles. It has to be my castle, my version of reality, right? Like, do you think that's what's up? He's like, I don't want any kid to be having fun unless they're having fun in my fucking bouncy castle.
100%. I think two things. I think Jimmy Balcombe wants to see the world burn, and I think if he sees a smiling child, he only wants to see it inside of one of his bouncy castles.
How do you get? Because like this, I always think about this with like criminality as like a like. There are so many small steps on that journey. You don't start with Molotov cocktail, my competitors.
Right.
There has to be other little things you did before that. Do you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Like, you have to be trying to like, I mean, it starts innocent enough. I'm gonna buy the AdWords for the Google SEO of my competitor to point to my website. Yep. It starts innocent enough. And then it's like, maybe I write some bad Yelp reviews or Google reviews for my competitor under pseudonyms. Yeah. And then it's like, maybe I turn up to an event where they've got a bouncy castle and I 100%. Turn off the generator.
Yeah.
And then suddenly you're sabotaging.
You saddle up to the guy who's sort of running the, what do they call it? Brisbane Jumping Castles. The supervisor at the park who's
the park
looking
supervisor.
Over the competitors. He's like, oh, what's this? What's this one here, mate? Probably about a, what's this, 7x9, is it?
No, it's an 8x13. 8x13, mate.
Yeah, us Balcombe. Over at Balcombes, we only bloody do about 10x14, so a bit smaller.
You do 10x14s, mate.
10x14s where we do.
Damn, we've only got up to 10x16. That's crazy. You guys do that?
The only reason we do that is because we've heard that the 8x13s are a bit shit. Can't really keep up on the old compressor there. Have a lot of problems with those.
Mate, let me tell you, they're less reliable, but they get the job done.
And then he says, I think you'll, if you have a look in there, two of the kids in there haven't actually taken their shoes off. They're bouncing and they're fully shoed. And then the guy goes, what? Because that's a big thing in the bouncy castle industry. He goes, that's
a code violation.
Yeah, and so he's in there, he jumps in and he starts looking
and then while he's doing that,
Jimmy Balcombe takes a stab into the castle.
Wait, you think Jimmy's going in himself? You don't think he's hiring a middleman?
Full blown. I think that's
how it starts. Is
initial steps?
Initial steps. He's in there himself, and then he realizes that he's too close to the action.
Exactly. He's like, you know what? Jimmy's got to put some distance between Jimmy and the beers. You know what I mean?
Is there that much money in the bouncy castle business?
$1.4 million in damage, mate.
Hang on. Renting bouncy castle, Brisbane. Hold on. I want to see how much it would run me for like an hour. Jumping Castle High of Brisbane.
Well, that one before said that they rent them out at 120, right, for 7 hours. And this one that burned down had 110 castles. That's $13.5K a day.
What? I don't know what to do with that. That's crazy.
Well, I'll tell you what you do with it. You take two, you give it to 3 guys, you say fucking burn down every other cunt in town who owns one of these establishments.
Damn. This is, okay, castles can be booked for rental period up to 6 hours or more. I'm just going to go through the sales funnel. Hold on. Bear with me. This is an obstacle. It's not a very complicated one. I want book online. I want it to be on the 15th. Booking is for one day.
Be careful, mate. Be careful. The Balcombes of the world are out there watching.
4,000 the CBD. I can book this for $200 for a day. But bear in mind that was the first thing that came up, so it might be shit.
Well, let's say $200 a day at 110 castles. That one business is doing $22K a day. You can see why burning might be an option. You're starting to see why.
Usually, on Weird But Wonderful, the person in question is doing something weird that's interesting, and you go, "How did you get there?" But when you
Actually,
put it like that,
when you run the numbers, you say, I know
You start to
exactly
think-
how you get there, Jimmy. Mr. Balcombe, I'm fully aware of how you got here.
listen, Jay, your methodology unusual, but your design and your goal, I can get behind.
It makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I don't want it to make sense, but it does.
It's inevitable. James, I can't make it not make sense. It fits in so nicely.
It's inevitable, Mr.
It's
Smith.
inevitable, Mr. Smith. That's the mate. You guys get it. You don't need me to tell you.
You get it.
Yeah.
But I mean, we can't condone burning it to the ground.
Recommendation, don't do arson. Controversial, I know.
If you can avoid it.
If you're in a situation where it's avoidable, avoid it. If you're in a situation where it's not, do you?
If you're in a situation where it's paying $22K a day, figure it out yourself.
Think it through properly before you make a choice either way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And now I guess we cut back to James at an earlier date doing the rest of the podcast solo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but what you're going to do in the edit is make it feel more seamless somehow. I don't know how, but that's what's going to happen.
Oh, right.
Now that I've said that, you have to include this, and then what if I do? What if I do this? What was the other story you were doing?
The other stories were
what was the last one? The one you cut to?
The next one was a drug dealer that got caught because of his love of Stilton cheese.
So I'll do you a segue for free.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Damn, James, that's so crazy about that bouncy castle and whatnot. Tell me about that drug dealer and the cheese. And you cut.
Seamless transition.
That's how we get him.
Speaking of criminal masterminds, it's so often that criminals get caught. They're usually boasting, by the way, have you seen all these fucking teenagers just going buck wild? Because like all the laws have been changed because they're obviously trying to affect how many kids end up in juvie or whatever. I don't know what we call it here. So they're essentially just not prosecuting people under the age of 18 who commit offenses. I know someone personally who, when their home was broken into and their car was stolen by teenagers, the punishment for the teenager was just that they had to go sit down with the homeowner, and the homeowner then had to say, this is the damage that you did to us. Which seems wild because then that also, the person that was robbed needs to be like a willing participant in that whole thing, and like, it seems like nothing but upside if you can just steal stuff and then sell it, and then even if you get caught, the punishment is, hey, go say sorry. And I mean, if the person doesn't want to, then there's kind of really no repercussions for them, it seems like. But anyway, these motherfuckers are just fully stealing cars, filming it, and putting it on the internet. Just wild. And that's how a lot of people get done. They get real braggy. They get online, they get braggy about what they're doing. Like this drug dealer's love of Stilton cheese was credited for his downfall after police were able to identify him from a photo of his hands holding a block of cheese. I saw a TikTok today, actually, that was from a lawyer, and he put a nice little, disclaimer on there saying like, hey, I'm not your lawyer. This isn't legal advice. However, if you're going to commit crimes, cover your tattoos because that's how they'll get you. And we talked about this last time. That's how they got the Italian mobster guy from his cooking channel. They identified him from his tattoos. And that's how, old Stilty lover over here, Carl Stewart, 39, identified after he shared the photo on the encrypted messaging service EncroChat, from which police were able to analyze his fingerprints. Sorry, what? First of all, If he shared a photo on an encrypted messaging service and the police were able to intercept that in some way, doesn't seem like it's that encrypted, if I'm honest. And what fucking 92K resolution camera are you using that makes it so they're able to get your encrypted message, download it, and then rip your fingerprints from it? Haven't seen that ad. Haven't seen the ad for that feature on the new iPhone. Camera's so good, get you busted for crimes. Straight off a fingerprint lift. Stewart of Gem Street, Liverpool. I don't know why they wrote it like that. Is he known there particularly? Is that like Bartholomew of Hornsville? Ah, yes, this is Stewart of Gem Street. Stewart of Gem Street, Liverpool was sentenced to 13 years and 6 months in prison at Liverpool Crown Court on Friday after he pleaded guilty to conspiracy to supply cocaine, heroin, MDMA, and ketamine, as well as transferring criminal property. Stewart used EncroChat to supply large amounts of Class A and Class B drugs under the online pseudonym Toffee Force, a reference to the Everton Football Club. Toffee Force. Oh, where do you get your drugs from? Oh, I get them from, there's a house and it has like a little, the guys like cut a hole in the back of the fence and you just sort of like stick your hand through with the money and then he sticks his hand through with the drugs. That's how I do it. How do you do it? Well, I'm on EncroChat, obviously, very encrypted, very 2023, from a man named Toffee Force. I buy my drugs from Toffee Force. Do you call him that in person then as well? Toff for short? And then he says, James, and I go, Toffee? Yes, we meet on a park bench, we sit next to each other, and I have to say, the toffee smells delicious today. And he says, only in a blue moon. And that's how we know, like, yeah, we got the right guy. Give me my drugs, please. According to the National Crime Agency, EncroChat was used exclusively by criminals to carry out criminal activity, including drug and weapons dealings, as well as money laundering. Used exclusively by criminals, and then put that in inverted commas. I bet there were some people in there who were probably just, they're like, Signal sucks, or whatever what's the Microsoft one? I think it might be Signal. Oh, this is shit. Let's go to a different one. What platform have you heard of? EncroChat, and then you get busted just because you're a full-blown tech head. So annoying when the tech heads get busted and lumped in with the criminals. About 60,000 users of EncroChat have been identified worldwide, with about 10,000 of them in the UK. Again, this is supposed to be an encrypted messaging service. How do they know about all 60,000 users? Or 60? Well, not even all of them, because it just says about 60,000 users of EncroChat have been identified worldwide. That seems like it's the opposite of what you'd be using the service for. If I'm using an encrypted messaging service app, I'm assuming that I don't want to be found out. I don't know. Am I being stupid? I don't know. But that's how that reads to me. Stewart is not the first British criminal to be identified from a picture of his hands. In 2010, Stephen Taylor was sentenced to 10 months for handling stolen goods after officers found a photograph on his phone of him holding rare stolen watches. Stop taking fucking full-blown 4K, 1080p, 60 FPS, 300 DPI, incriminating fucking evidence of yourself and keeping it on your devices. Oh, here's all this cool stuff that I've stolen. I'm going to take a photo of me holding it with my recognizable tattoo in the picture as well, just so I can show people later. This is going to be pretty sick. Hey, look at all these stolen goods that I got. Fuck. Police got it. Forensic officers enhanced the image, which allowed a fingerprint specialist to identify Taylor from the ridges in his hands. What phone are you guys using And does it need that much detail? Do photos need that much detail? Fingerprint specialists are identifying you based on photos of your hands. That's where we're at on the quality. That's where we're at. 2023. Wait a minute. That says it was in 2010 when this Stephen Taylor guy got done. I don't think that was as accurate as they made it out to be. They were like, oh yeah, yeah, you know, I know it looks like super pixelated and like shit, and you can't really make out anything because 2010 2010 phone pictures were so good that you could fucking lift his fingerprints from it. I think these people have had it pinned on them. A 2010 photo has enough detail for you to lift my fingerprints from a photo of my hand? I think I might be calling bullshit on that one. In 2018, South Wales police secured 11 convictions after an image of a man holding ecstasy tablets in his palm was sent to potential customers by a dealer in Bridgend. DI Lee Wilkins said Carl Stewart was involved in supplying large amounts of Class A and Class B drugs, but was caught out by his love of Stilton cheese. After sharing a picture of a block of it in his hand through EncroChat, his palm and fingerprints were analysed from the picture, and it was established they belonged to Stewart. Damn it, my love of cheese! If anything in this life is gonna get me caught, it's my goddamn love of cheese. I don't know if I could look at Stilton the same way again, to be honest. You know, like after you have like a really bad night drinking a certain type of alcohol, for me it might be two things. It will definitely be Smirnoff Double Blacks and probably Jägermeister. Two of those are just, ugh. Don't know if I could handle it. You know what I mean? Is that the Stilton? Is that Stilton for this guy? He's like, oh, the Stewart of Gem Street, shall you be partaking in the Stilton tonight? Or can I interest you perhaps in a cheddar? Gorgonzola or something? Oh, I simply couldn't do a Stilton. I used to love it. Favorite cheese. Stilton was Stewart of Gem Street's favorite cheese. Yeah, I often refer to myself in third person. I can't look at it ever since a photo of me holding my once favorite cheese set me down for many years. So many things in that just seem fucking cooked. It's an encrypted messaging service, and they lift his fingerprints from a photo of his hand holding a block of cheese. Weird but wonderful, like podcast warning of the week. Delete all photos of your mittens. Okay? Do it now. Pause the podcast, go delete all the photos of your hands on social media and come back. Perfect. Now you're back. Let's continue. We're going to Lubbock County now, where prosecutors said that a man drove a vehicle loaned to him by a car dealership to rob a bank in Texas and brought the money back to try and use it for a down payment on the BMW that he used to do the bank robbery. Okay, hold on. Let's go through this one again. Guy goes to a car dealership. Love a Beamer. Let me take it for a test spin. Guy says, no worries. He takes it, goes and robs a bank, uses the car as the getaway car, comes back to the dealership, tries to give him the money that he just stole from the bank. He's like, oh yeah, I know it's covered in like dye packets and stuff, but like that washes off and it's no big deal. Yeah, I know. Oh, this small gunshot wound. Unrelated. I know I'm completely covered in exploded dye packets, and so is all of the money, and I have a gunshot wound in my leg. Completely unrelated. Okay? But anyway, here's the money. I would like this car now. Obviously not exactly this one, but a different one, maybe with like a different license plate. Warren, who pleaded guilty to bank robbery, has been sentenced to 20 years in federal prison. According to court documents, it was during the summer of 2019 when Warren went into a bank in Wolford, Texas, and walked up to a teller. The 50-year-old then put a bag from a fast food restaurant and a note on the counter. So this is a 50-year-old dude who loves a Beamer, also loves fast food, but needs a little bit of cash. The note read, no way! The note read, verbatim, "This is a fucking robbery." Brilliant opener. Brilliant opener. Next, please. Yeah, you sir. Yeah, the guy wearing the hood, the sunglasses, the cap, who's also holding a knapsack and wearing a long sleeve hoodie. He's wearing gloves as well. Yeah, you're next. Come on through, mate. Yeah. The guy with the Macca's bag. Come on, let's do it. Okay. Well, I don't. Thank you for putting your Macca's bag on the counter, but I don't want that. Oh, you're pointing at the note. Yep. Let me just pick that up. What does this say here? This is a fucking robbery. Okay. Play with me and die. Okay. So the note reads, "This is a fucking robbery. Play with me and die. I want $10,000 in $50 and $100 bills now. You've got 1 minute or I will kill you." After showing the teller the note, Warren pulled out what looked like a handgun and said, "I ain't playing around. I want hundreds and fifties." The teller gave Warren the money from her drawer, including stacks of $20 bills with recorded serial numbers. Ugh. Bit awkward. He did say only hundos and fifties. So, but I'd like to sort of get more into why he only wanted a deposit for the car. He just wanted the down payment for the Beamer. Guy didn't go in there. The guy goes to the dealership and is like, "Oh, I love that one. How much is that?" "Oh, $68K, drive away. You've got it. I obviously don't have that money. Let me stop at the bank real quick. And instead of stealing the full amount for the car, let me just get enough for the down payment. I'll do that. Hey guys, I'm not greedy, all right? I'll do the rest. I'll cover the rest. It's cool." No, it's cool, guys. It's cool. It's cool. No, just the 10. Just the 10K is fine. Just the down payment for me, please. I'll do the other 58. It's cool. Don't worry about it. Doesn't that seem fucking wild to you? That this guy goes to rob a bank and in this grand plan that he's got of getting the car from the dealership, using it as the getaway car, robbing the bank, he's only using the money as the down payment on the car? Just steal the whole amount. Or just steal the car. I didn't even think of that. Why didn't he just steal the car? He's like, "Hey, whoa. I'm gonna pay for this Beamer, okay? But I'm just, I'm a little light on cash right now. I need a little bit of help, And I'm not gonna steal the whole amount, just the down payment. I've got the rest. And I'm not gonna steal the car, okay? I'm gonna pay for it. I pay for the things that I buy, thank you very much." Sans the initial 10, but yeah, it's cool. It's cool. Warren later admitted that after getting the cash, he drove away in a vehicle that had been loaned to him by a car dealership. He'd been there earlier and was in the process of finalizing the sale of the BMW. Officials say it was about 15 minutes after the robbery when Warren went back to the dealership in the loaned vehicle and began waving around cash. Literally, it says he began waving around cash. Yoo-hoo! Yoo-hoo, guys! I'm back! Yeah, got the money, guys. Yeah, totally forgot that I had... totally forgot that I had the 10K in my other pair of pants at home. Just had to swing by home real quick and pick up the 10. So, here it is. He eventually went into the finance office and tried to finalize the purchase of the BMW with a $3,000 cash down payment. He wasn't even using all of it for the down payment. This just seems so short-sighted. I'm only going to steal 10 when you could have stolen the whole amount for the car. You're doing the crime. You're doing the whole robbery. The punishment's going to be the same. You should have just gone for the whole amount. This is not advice. Okay. I have an advice show, The Advisory. Go check it out. type in The Advisory or The Advisory Podcast, wherever you get podcasts from. That's the advice show. This isn't. This is just some guy saying, I can't believe you did a full-blown bank robbery, didn't steal enough money for the car that you were buying, only stole 10, and then only used like a third of it for the down payment of the fucking car that you used to get there. This is wild. Things began to fall apart for the robber when an employee at the dealership got a call informing him about the recent bank robbery, all while Warren was still there. Oh, that would have been so awkward. Yellow? Speaking? Yeah, we've had a couple of test drivings this morning. Yeah, for sure. Why is that? Oh, okay. Yeah. Bank robbery. Yeah, okay. 10,000 in cash. Okay, interesting. Probably, I don't see why you wouldn't just go for the full, like, 70. I know, right? I know. That sounds fucking stupid. Yeah. Do you have someone here now? Yeah. Literally waving cash around. $3,000 down payment. Yeah. A third. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah. No, it's cool. We'll keep him busy. Okay. All right. No, you have a good one too. We'll see you soon. Who was that? Oh, what's that? Who was that? No. That's just someone looking at we've got a Kia Rio that someone's sort of interested in, and they're gonna swing by just for another test drive. You know how it is. You know, sometimes you get it in your mind. You get the FOMO. You don't want the buyer's remorse, so you gotta test drive it more than once. So stay right here, and don't move, obviously. The employee called police after realizing the description of the vehicle used in the robbery matched the one loaned to Warren. When Warren was arrested, he had more than $5,000 with him, and the serial numbers matched the stolen money from the bank. Police also found a painted pellet gun resembling a real handgun when they arrested Warren. Oh, mate. I mean, make that one make sense. You're already doing all of the crimes. All of the crimes are being done. You're not going to... Unless you get, like, more time if you steal over 10K. And he's like, look, I'm not an idiot, okay? I know that if this goes pear-shaped, I only want to steal the minimum amount of money, all right? In this armed robbery, by the way, doing an armed robbery, you're already committing to all of it. Just do all of it. You know what I mean? Get all the money that you need. Come back, do a cash payment on the spot, so you probably speed up that paperwork a little bit. You're not going back and forth about, oh yeah, and who are you going to get the rest of the financing through? Oh, okay, and how do you want to do, what do you want to do? Like monthly installments, weekly installments? Okay, is this like a 3-year loan, like a 5-year loan? Dog, steal all of the cash, give them the money, sign the title over, get the fuck out of there. That's wild that you, okay. That doesn't make any sense to me. I can't make sense of that one. And I'm going to leave here today as baffled as maybe you are. Because that's going to do it for this episode. But if you have any ideas about what the fuck is going on in that guy's head, or you want to keep up to date with me, or you want to shoot me a message just in general, at my pixel persona on Instagram, at One Weird Podcast on Instagram, or at BLK Swan Society on TikTok or Instagram for this little network that my friend David and I are, trying to get off the ground. We're also currently funding some creative projects, bit.ly/BSS-submit. Link is in the show notes. If you're a creative person, you've got a pitch or a pilot and you want some funding, head over to the link. But the most important thing that you can do is leave a 4 or 5-star jokes, 5 stars only, reviews on iTunes and or wherever you get podcasts. It helps people like you find the show, and that's good. Didn't really sell you on that one, did I? Didn't really sell it too hard. Hey, just tell someone about it. You know what I mean? If you like it, share it with someone. Say, hey, I like this one. Maybe you'll like this one. he used to do them more frequently, but then he sort of didn't do them as frequent because he's got this whole like perfectionistic tendency, and if it's not going to be perfect, then he can't like start it. But he's trying to get over that. So the episodes are hopefully going to be more frequent. You could probably share that with them. That might be a little bit oversharing because I've just shared that with you about myself. So maybe don't share that with them. They'll sort of figure it out when they come over here, you know. But thank you for being here, for hanging out. Again, I say it all the time. I know you've got a million things competing for your attention, and it's not lost on me that you're spending some of that precious time that you've got here with me listening to this, and I really appreciate that. So thank you. Thank you for doing so. This has been episode 78. Come back for episode 79. I'll see you next time.